We wanted to find out what was the perceived value, right, and what we've talked about in the conference yesterday and today, and we'll continue to talk about, is the economic value of IT. And as a consequence of that, or as an extension of that, what do people believe it is right now? Right? What do IT people believe their value is? And then, as importantly, maybe more importantly, what do non-IT people believe is the value of IT? If you think about the traditional or stereotypical typecast of IT, right? Make sure the phone's working, make sure they can get logged on, Outlook's okay. All these things that are mission critical, important, but certainly have kind of a mundane external perspective. And as IT has become substantially more strategic, and has in most cases become an enabler for differentiation to allow company A to surpass company B, there's still probably some disparity in what IT believes its worth is and what the outside world thinks IT is worth. So we wanted to find out and put some numbers to that. So I talked to a lot of the reps in Canada. I talked to folks in the headquarters like in Nugent, for instance. And everyone always agreed that if you just took a large enough sample size, that IT being closer to it, not only with respect to what they've done, but what they're working on in the future, certainly going to have a slightly higher value perception than maybe outside of IT. Because if you think about someone, for instance, doing an accountant or a finance person, I don't know if they correlate their very existence to the level of sophistication, service levels, and reliability of IT. They go on to SAP, they use it, everything works, the day's over, they go home. They don't equate that to, wow, our IT has made my life a lot better. And I think as an extension of that, certainly we expect it to be a little bit of difference. What we're surprised by is how much difference. And I think, again, the Aretha Franklin song, RESPECT. I don't think that's it, but I think it's just education and TLC. Believe it or not, bed manner, if you will. If you look at doctors, when everything goes well, an incredible physician who was clinical, sterile, maybe not warm, for lack of a better phrase. It's funny what someone who walks out of a life-threatening situation may remember a year later. The doctor was not friendly. Didn't give any attention or thought to the best neurosurgeon on the planet, the best cardiologist on the planet, and only by virtue of his or her excellence am I alive today. So I think a lot of that, I think it's analogous or similar. When IT's doing a great job, it's not automatic or intuitive to correlate the vast improvement in business processes to the fact that a lot of it's brought to you by a friendly neighborhood IT organization. Jeff may have the exact numbers, I don't have them on top of my hand, but it's like a 20-point disparity between the self-perception and external perception. I was surprised by how much that was. I think it manifests itself in many different ways depending on the enterprise, right? I think certainly in some cases that budget was reduced, or funding for a net new strategic project was not as forthcoming as it might have been. So I think if you go back to the doctor analogy, I think one of the keys to longevity and success for a CIO is promotion of your organization's strategic value to IT. And ways to do that, right, are a dashboard, instrumentation to take to the business entity and the business organization and say, here are the projects we're working on, and here's their prioritization, here's their cost, here's their ROI, and here's their level of risk. And that's what Clarity does, and that's why we're having so much success in Canada promoting that technology. It's helping IT understand their own prioritization, their own cost, their own strategic contribution, and it's helping them use that as a vehicle to discuss and illustrate those same metrics to non-IT. It's certainly way beyond SaaS or virtualization in Canada. I would say it's still a new technology, certainly not emerging, it's established. We have a lot of clients that are using it now, and it's helping them prioritize their projects, it's helping them allocate funds in accordance with what IT projects are aligned with business needs, right? Which ones have too much risk, which ones cost too much relative to their ROI. So we're seeing a lot, but it's not just IT projects, right? Clarity can do a multitude. Anything that you can define as a process or a project, Clarity can help track it, illustrate it, instrument information to a broad audience about where things stand. A beverage company, a beverage maker in the United States uses it for their marketing campaigns. We have companies using it for manufacturing, everything from buildings to furniture. So it has a lot of applicability. I think it'd be an interesting study to go back to those metrics and those surveys and find the enterprises where there was little to no disparity, and do an interview of those enterprises and say, why do you think there's no disparity? What have you done that educated your business users to your value proposition? I think, anecdotally, we have clients out there where the business community knows what their IT organization does and loves them. Sometimes it's fleeting, right? A huge strategic project rolls out successfully. Everyone loves IT when that happens, right? But then, Murphy's Law, occasionally one doesn't go well. If the survey hits on, that particular bleak Wednesday or whenever it is when the budget's overrun or a significant outage occurs, I think that would create a little bit of an anomaly, a spike downward. I think the enterprises where there's a little more harmony between the business community and IT community is just indicative at the executive level of open lines of communication. The business community telling the IT executive, these are the things that matter to the business, and then the IT executive telling them in return, I heard what you said, here are the things I believe we should be working on, and here's an estimate of what their costs are, what their risks are, when the delivery dates are going to be. It has encouraged me from a business perspective that for CA Canada there's still a lot of opportunity regardless of the economy or the environment relating to, I keep using the word instrumentation of the effectiveness and efficiency of IT, right? Our ITIL supporting technologies and our process and project management supporting technologies, whether it's CMDB or Service Desk or Service Catalog or Clarity. All of these technologies are going to be very valuable as IT organizations try and do a better job educating the business community. Here's what we do, here's why it matters, here's why you should love us. So the disparity, in my opinion, is indicative of opportunity for CA Canada.